Ever so slightly up here, but not onto the final climb fully. There's Bernal, this is Landa, and they're 1.2 kilometers from the finish of today's stage. Bernal gets ready, jersey pulled down. Can he show off those Colombian colours here? Landa looks around. They've still got 112 on group 3. And this is that third group here. Bras Afonso, we think, in the middle. In fact, no, that's the second group at 112. So 1 kilometre to go. Landa and Bernal. We have to assume they know.
Well, that is the question, and you can see the way they're starting to ride here. It doesn't look like that, you know, they're too nervous about this final. And being so close inside the final kilometre, I think they're thinking about this final climb here. And of course, yeah, the cars here, you know, in between the mountains, the valley and that, to get the radio contact with your rider, sometimes it doesn't work. So it will be an interesting one. Hopefully the two of them do know, because, you know, it would be nice to see a fight there for the stage win, and just one doesn't just be on the front when they roll through that point.
And what a moment it would be. Bernal, only 2 wins since the accident were those Colombian championships. Mikel Landa now, as it comes uphill, 600 metres to the finish, 16 wins in his career, but nothing for 4 years as well since he won the Vuelta a Burgos. A look behind here from Landa. Maybe now they do know.
Yes, they know. We can see here the way Landa's looking around with Bernal at the wheel. He's just waiting for this sprint to the line.
62 kilometres from the finish is where Landa took off. It's going to end 8Ks from the finish, ever so slightly uphill to the banner here, and Bernal is ready to go around him. Landa's there leading it out. It's Bernal who does get around him. Landa is there, Bernal up here, Bernal to the line, and it is there, but can Landa come back on him? I don't think he can, and what a moment for Egan Bernal. A Grand Tour stage winner yet again. Egan Bernal wins the stage, and that is that. Landa is beaten. Bernal wins in the strangest of situations. There was no big celebration there. You can imagine none of them are happy about how it's turned out on the road. As I said, all of that is out of their and our hands. But it is victory to Egan Bernal once again. And well, no matter where it comes, Sean, it's a huge moment.
Well, it's a huge moment, and you know, I know they'd like to go on to the final climb and you know, go to the very end of the stage, and you could see there the way, you know, the sprint was, with Landa just kicking the sprint off, but Bernal much stronger, and Bernal winning. But you could see there it wasn't, you know, like that normal finish, and they were looking around as well. What do we do now? Do we stop or do we continue on a bit? As we can see, the rest of the riders just coming in here, and yeah, for Bernal and Landa, they were the two best out of that big breakaway. So, you know, hats off to them. They were the strongest one out of the breakaway of the day.
You can see the improvised timing line at the bottom there, by the way. That looks like the finish line. Of course, they rode to the arch because that's what they could see. But yes, this is far from perfect as a sporting contest. I know that. We've said what we said. The right to protest is, of course, respected, and the most important thing as far as the race is concerned is maintaining the safety and integrity of the riders. They're trying their best, the organisers here, Sean. It's out of their hands to preserve the integrity of the competition as well by putting a line there and announcing a stage winner. But it will be a wonderful win for Bernal, but I'm sure a bittersweet one given how it looks there.
Yes, well, we could see how it looks, and it will be a bittersweet one for him, but still, you know, he is going to be in the history books as the stage winner. And unfortunately for the organisers, they have to make those decisions. The safety of the riders, of course, always, you know, the priority, and a very good decision there, because it has to be done, you know, pretty urgently. They get the news and then they have to decide where we're going to finish here, and, you know, to make the teams aware, the riders aware, all of that, it's always a difficult one for the organisers. But I think at the end of the day, the way it worked out here, it was the best for all.
I think overnight there will be more repercussions, won't there? There will be talk about this, there will be more pressure, and of course there'll be questions as to how far the Vuelta might get this year. They were already surfacing in the press yesterday. We will see. In the general classification, we'll have to see what the final time is, but we can expect, I think, there to be changes in the top 10. Certainly, Egan Bernal getting very close to it, if not into it. and a brilliant piece of work from Bahrain Victorious that distanced Junior herself and will make sure that their rider, Torsten Tren, who led the Vuelta for a while, will get a place up into ninth, it seems. He's in this group that's being led by IPT because of the fact that Ricky Tello is riding so well. Started the day 7th at 4:53. We know that Felix Gau's been in a little bit of bother today. He looks like he could be in trouble and slipping down as well. Started the day in 5th place. And a late mechanical for Jonas Vingegaard. Survived. And he, after changing onto a teammate's bike, makes it without any time lost to the finish. That was Stewart who dropped back from the breakaway to help Ricky Tello. This is Soler riding as Soler does. No talk of sitting up or anything like that. He'll ride in with his teammates if he can to the finish. This is Jorgensen, Vingegaard, and we wait to see if there are any big differences back to those chasing. Of course, you'll have to bear with us as far as that's concerned. We, like the organisers, only just receiving the news and having to improvise a little bit. There's 1 kilometre to ride in this group. Pidcock is there and saving his spot nicely on the podium. Hindley, Pellizzari missing from the top 10. The biggest name missing is Felix Gauchon, and we saw the genesis of that when he just lost the wheel on that lap. Well, turns out to be the last climb now.
Yes, he was losing on the last climb, but I think he got into the front group, and that attack from Pidcock again, I think that's where he got distance, because we see, there was a lot of gaps between the GC men, and it's just not happened for him to get back into the front, so he's going to lose time. But all the rest here in the general classification are pretty much here. Of course, Junior herself, he was out very early, so the team of Bahrain Victorious, they put the pressure on there and put him in difficulty as well. But yeah, this is the one now where there'll be some riders disappointed with the situation, not going up this climb, because this has proved to be a difficult day. And we did talk about that earlier on in the studio breakaway as well. They said this is a complicated stage in the final, and the interviews pre-race as well, a lot of the riders said, this could be a change in the general classification. We have seen some changes, but nothing major at the very top end.
Here they come up to the timing point then, just at 8 kilometres to go, where the race was supposed to take on the final climb today. And in the end, they're across the line, and in this group, GC times are taken here. This Vuelta that is becoming increasingly affected by protests. The stage stops with 8 kilometres to go. A pat on the back there for Pidcock from Vingegaard. Stop here is the message from the organisers. But there will be changes in the general classification. Not all the racing that sports fans will have wanted to see, but plenty of racing. Changes in the GC. A stage winner again for a man who we thought might never even ride a bike again professionally. But the main news from this 16th stage at the Vuelta A Espana Orla is that protesters protesting the presence of the Israel Premier Tech team amid the ongoing situation in Gaza have forced an early end to the stage.